Tim McIntyre.
Speaker, there are times in life when it is appropriate to be gracious. I want to associate myself with the comments of the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honourable Bill English, and the Honourable Jerry Brownlee, and in particular I want to acknowledge the very warm and generous tributes of the Honourable Flavel and David Seymour from the ACT Party who spoke before him, and also the Honourable Peter Dunn, who, although he hasn't spoken in this debate today, made similarly complimentary remarks yesterday. It doesn't mean that any of the leaders of those parties endorse everything that the National Party leads and decides. Far from it, and that's a matter of public record. But we have there the leaders of three parties who have shown that through relationships where there is mutual respect, a genuine desire to focus on the issues that matter to New Zealanders, and a realisation that under the MMP system of politics, at times compromises are necessary, we have enjoyed over the last 8 years a highly successful period in government, and I warmly salute all three of those parties for their significant contributions to that. What a shame, therefore, that we haven't seen the same degree of graciousness from members who have spoken from across the House, although I do acknowledge the remarks that the Honourable Annette King commenced with, and I thank her for that. So, like most New Zealanders, I didn't wake up yesterday expecting the Prime Minister to announce his resignation. But after I got over the shock of what had occurred and thought about it later in the day, I realised that actually it was exactly what I have always expected. That John Key would choose the timing and the manner of his departure, and that he would have the opportunity to leave this House with his head held high and enjoying the appreciation and admiration of an overwhelming number of New Zealanders. And that in itself is a very rare achievement for any politician. Sir, despite the cheap and churlish attacks that we heard from particularly the New Zealand First Party today, and also the leader of the Greens, the fact of the matter is that our Prime Minister has always and unrelentingly focused on the things that matter most to New Zealanders. And one of the reasons why I have been so proud to be a member of the party while he has been our Prime Minister has been that we have made a significant difference in areas that matter through some of the most challenging times that our country could possibly have imagined. No one else in our lifetime has governed through a global financial crisis of such magnitude. No one else in our lifetime has had to lead a country through the devastating Canterbury earthquakes and more recently the Kaikoura earthquakes, its impact on Wellington and the long period of instability and huge fiscal impact that those events have had. We've also seen a number of other major challenges, the Rena disaster, Pike River, floods, and you name it. So it goes on. On every one of those occasions, the Prime Minister and the team he has led have stood beside the people who were affected, have been there to provide the support that is necessary. And that is why, sir, he has maintained the gratitude and the respect of so many New Zealanders. So in 2002, John Key and I were both new candidates for the National Party. I have to say that his campaign as the candidate for Helensville was considerably more successful than mine was that year in the devastating election which saw me absolutely hammered in Tauranga. But I enjoyed getting to know him then and hugely admired watching his progress during the next few years and was very pleased to see him take the leadership of the party when he did. And I believe, sir, that New Zealanders generally will acknowledge him warmly. Contrary to what Mr. Prosser said, the historians will look back on some of the issues that I have just referred to and the really significant role that our minor party supporters have played, particularly over the treaty settlement process, and they will judge him highly, as he deserves to be, because it is never possible to please all of the people all of the time, but to have retained the level of support that he has done in the polls is no coincidence. It shows that he has been somebody who has been there focusing on the things that matter, and he has achieved wonderful things with the delivery of better public services, the treaty settlement process that I've referred to, the focus in particular on vulnerable New Zealanders, raising benefits, introducing free doctors' visits for children under 13, measures to deal with our problems, particularly for emergency housing. The list goes on. His unrelenting focus on raising standards of achievement in education. Sir, he has been an outstanding Prime Minister. He leaves a legacy that will be admired and is admired by international leaders. And I am incredibly proud to have been a part of that team. I salute him and I thank him sincerely on behalf of my constituents and all New Zealanders.